Hi guys, welcome back to The Contented Plant. Today we are going to repot my fiddle leaf fig, and we're going to talk a little bit about the care of a fiddle leaf fig. Now mine looks a little rough, in particular this leaf, and that's not because it's doing poorly, it's because my 3-year-old had a little spinny toy that he was playing with around it, and it just shredded that poor leaf. But the rest of it is doing really, really well. So we're gonna repot it together and see if we can encourage it to grow some more. So I've had this for a few months now. I think I got it in the springtime, and it's still in its nursery pot. I've just kind of let it grow in its nursery pot. My general rule of thumb with the plants is if they seem to be doing okay and they're growing and thriving, then just leave them be. And it looks now like it's getting big enough that I think I should put it in a regular pot. I want to do that before winter comes so it's not stressed out. So I'm going to go ahead and repot it into there. So I have this cute little pot here. It has a drainage hole in the bottom and these really cute little feet. So this is what I'm going to pot it into. I am going to pot it because this is kind of sitting too low in the pot, and these little tiny baby leaves were getting damaged from sitting that low. So I'm gonna repot it up high and see if we can't encourage it to get a little bit stronger for me. I do have a pole that I Velcro it to just so it's not floppy, because it does kind of flop over. The stem is pretty weak. It's still kind of a baby fiddle leaf, so we're just gonna give it a little bit of extra support. So I'm going to use soil, perlite, a little bit of orchid bark, and a little bit of moss in my soil mixture. Fiddle leaves do like a lot of air and lightness in their soil, but they also like to have some moisture retention as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna gently turn it over, trying not to damage any leaves. I had just watered this a few days ago, so you can see there's still quite a bit of moisture sitting in that soil. And I'm honestly just going to put it right back into the soil that I just made for it. I am not going to tear it apart at all. It has very fine and delicate roots, so I don't want to end up damaging and injuring the roots. So while I'm doing this, I'll tell you really quickly what happened when I was setting up for the video, which has never happened to me before. I had to put my phone on the tripod, and it goes on its side, and that tripod holds it really tight. Apparently there's a button that if it gets held down, your phone automatically calls 911. I didn't know that. So I'm sitting here getting all my soil out, getting everything ready, and I hear, ma'am, are you okay? Like, is anything wrong? Do you need help? I'm like, who is talking? So I turn around, and my phone it's called 911, and it's this poor 911 operator trying to figure out if I'm okay. I'm like, oh my gosh, absolutely mortified and embarrassed. No, I'm fine. I don't need any help, thank you though. I'm just trying to film a plant video, and apparently I didn't know there was that button there. Okay, so I have my soil almost all the way up. I'm gonna go ahead and see if that's the right amount that I need. I think that's about perfect. Oh my goodness, it's gonna look so nice being repotted in here. I'm so excited. It looks really good. Now those baby leaves are up above that level. It is kind of, you can see it's tipping backwards a little bit. So I'm probably gonna put the pole back in it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is tie it up to this stake. I have this Velcro tape, some scissors, and I'm just going to do that so it's not too tippy, because we want it to grow nice and tall and strong. And that's probably the only support I'm gonna give it. I don't wanna give it too much support because I do want it to have the opportunity to get a stronger stalk. So the basic care tips that I've found with this fiddle leaf is I have fertilized it once. I generally water it with water from my fish tank, which has a lot of nitrates in it, and I think that's kept it really happy. Also, it gets lots of bright and direct light in the afternoon. I think that's very helpful. I'm gonna give it a quick spritz just to keep the leaves nice and healthy. So for the fiddle leaves, you definitely want to keep their leaves washed, you can see they get really dusty, and that dust can encourage pests. A lot of times spider mites love really dry leaves with lots of dust. So a good rule of thumb is to go through and wash these usually once a month or so is what I shoot for. Or when I'm watering, if they look really dusty, I'll just run and get a damp paper towel and just give them a quick wash just to make sure we don't get any pests on our beautiful fiddle leaf figs. For watering, I water it about every 2 weeks. I always do a soil test, so I'll put my finger down in there a good 2 inches or so, see if it's really dry. The other thing you can do is lift it up. If it feels super light, then I would go ahead and give it a nice soaking. Now for this one, I like to bottom water it, and that just means it has a drainage hole in the bottom, so you're gonna put it in a bowl with water, and I just let it soak for 10 to 15 minutes. And you can put your finger down in there and feel when the water level kind of reaches about 1 inch. That way it lets the plant get as much water as it wants. And it's also a good way to not encourage fungus gnats to start on the top of wet soil that you get when you're watering over the top. I will fertilize this about once a month through the summertime, and then take it back in the wintertime to about once every 2 to 3 months. For light, it wants lots and lots of bright and direct light. I think one of the biggest problems people have is putting it into a corner with limited light. Honestly, you're gonna want it to have some moments during the day where it gets that nice sunshine on it, dappling the leaves. That will keep it happiest and will help you stay away from it dropping all of its leaves. So I will keep you guys updated on how this does now that it's been repotted. I'm hoping it's gonna be fine and it's not gonna get mad at me and lose all of its leaves. I'm also going to tempt fate even more and try and move it into a brighter spot because I really want it to grow nice and tall before the winter time comes and it slows down. So we will see how that goes. Please let me know if you have any questions down below about the fiddle leaf fig, and I will answer them as best I can. If you haven't already, you can follow me on Instagram at The Contented Plant and TikTok at The Contented Plant. We will see you next time, guys. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.